Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's special edition of CovInspiration with Dayo Israel. I have today on the show two exceptional women in charge of basic education in Lagos State. When it comes to education of our children and awards in the biggest state in Nigeria and one of the largest cities in West Africa, we have these two women at the forefront of providing basic educational service to these children and young people in Lagos State. As we approach Children's Day on the 27th of May in Nigeria, I know we have a lot of viewers from different parts of Africa. It has become expedient to interact with this woman to talk about the amazing work that they're doing for children and for the good people of Lagos State. I have with me in the studio today the Honorable Sijuade Tiamiyu. She's a permanent board member of the Lagos State Universal Basic Education Board in charge of social mobilization and public-private partnership. Please welcome Honorable Shiju on the show. Thank you so much for joining us, Honorable Shiju. It's good to see you.
Thank you so much, Dayo, for having me.
I also have on the studio here the permanent board member for co-curricular activities in the state, in charge of co-curricular activities of the Lagos State Universal Basic Education Board, another fiery woman on the board of LASUBEB in Lagos State. These two women, I would tell you, are primarily the only two women at the top leadership of management of basic education in Lagos State. Honorable Sherifat Sanusi, it's great to see you, Honorable. How are you doing today?
Good to see you too. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
You know, many times when they talk about women's political leadership, the reality is that we talk a lot about breaking and shattering the glass ceiling. But one of the unique things about Lagos is that there are a lot of women at the forefront in different areas. The Commissioner for Works is a woman. The Commissioner for Education is a woman. Let me start with you, Honorable Shiju. How would you rate the level of quality of women's leadership in Lagos State in particular right now?
Of course, women involvement in politics is increasing by the day. And the administration of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has pledged to have adequate women involvement in politics. And this he has achieved by making sure that members of the cabinet and in every sphere of his administration that there are women there. In SUBEB, there are women. In Works, there are women. In every, talk about that ministry, there's a woman in one position somehow there. And it's an indication that we are a progressive state and we are acknowledging the role of women in politics.
Let me talk to Honorable Sherifat. Honorable Sherifat, you have also run for office. You're also a woman politician, and you're privileged to the glory of God to be on this position now. Would you say that Lagos is setting the pace with the number of women in political leadership in terms of engaging more women and affirmative action for women?
Lagos is setting more than the pace, my brother. Let me start from our able leader, Sijuade Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He started all this reckoning with we women, appreciating our effort in politics, especially when it comes to rally, when it comes to mobilization, grassroots movements. You cannot just rule us out as women. And we appreciate the efforts of our able governor as well, Governor Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu. He is in his own wisdom acknowledge women. In fact, more than 35% of us are in his cabinet. And we appreciate him, we thank him for that, and we are contributing our quota to make this political terrain a very governable one for him.
So before we go into conversations around education, I really want to milk this women leadership a lot because it's something that is really a great achievement for us in Lagos. Are you aware, for example, that the countries that are successful in managing coronavirus are actually countries that are led by women? The 5 top countries managing coronavirus right now are countries that are led by women. As a woman in educational leadership in the state, do you think that having women in such sensitive position who advance, for example, the position that you are, the cause of young people and the cause of children, you being a mother and on the board like this, do you believe that it will add value to the service that is being rendered by such organization like yours to the life and welfare of children? Let me start from Mone Bushiju.
Let me state clearly that naturally women are caregivers, and we are caregivers. We are doctors. We are mothers. We are teachers. We would multitask at any level without shaking or looking back. We're broad-minded and we're not narrow-focused. So thinking through multiple things, i.e. education, COVID-19, the pandemic, and how it's going to affect us generally is not something that is new to any woman. And as women, we have been trained all our life naturally to nurture our child, the society, and everybody that is around now. So in answering your question, I think that, of course, as a woman, we're in the forefront of, if any woman is in the forefront of leadership, they're in the best position to make the right and the best decision. I'm sorry if I don't answer this question well, but
No, you did perfectly. I'm going to drag in Honorable Sherifat briefly into the conversation. As one of the things that you bring on board is your experience as a grassroots advocate and woman leader. Are we nearing the time where we would have a woman president in Nigeria or a woman governor in Nigeria? Do you think we're getting close to the time where women will begin to take serious political position in Nigeria?
Exactly. We are taking it already. And I believe when it comes to position of being a governor as a woman, being the president as a woman, we shall get there. It's not going to be long again. Very soon we shall get there. By attaining the grassroots position to the state level, to the federal level, starting smaller, climbing the ladder, you are very, very certain. We are so sure that very soon in this country we shall get there. Women generally shall attain higher positions politically. I believe so.
Honorable Shiji, you came back from the diaspora. You had worked in World Bank. You had been Humphrey Fellow. You've been one of the U.S. State Department Fellowship Program, and you're working with the Orlando Foundation. And one day you got a phone call and say you're going to have to resign your job in the private sector and come into the public sector. What was your first reaction? And how did you feel? What was your impression when you realized that you were going to leave all of that?
Excitement, a lot of excitement. And I say this all the time, we have to know where we're going and we have to be focused. I'm somebody that I've always had passion to create impact at a larger level. And when I got this opportunity, I felt it's one of the biggest opportunity I have to showcase, one, my skills, and to be able to use everything that I've learned so far so good to impact my society. And I believe that being in public office is one of the opportunity anybody would have to do that. And of course, have we started doing that? Yes, we have started doing that. We've started impacting basic education. And I thank Governor Sanwo-Olu for giving me this opportunity.
I was talking to the special advisor to the governor on agriculture the other day, and she said that she was coming from Olam Foods, where she was working as a senior manager, and then when she got into public office, it was a different ball game. She didn't understand a lot of things. They were telling her, "Oh, you have to be filling files and signing files from one office to the other." It was not what she expected, but she's coping in. Honorable Sharifa, what was your experience like coming into public? Was it what you expected? Were there challenges when you first got into the public service space, and are there lessons that you've learned that you think that can be improved in public sector services?
Well, when you talk of lessons, there is no limitation to learning. You keep learning every now and then. But coming into public office is a privilege, which I acknowledge so much. And I want to appreciate my wonderful able and amiable leader. Number 3, citizen of Lagos State, our one and only speaker, Mudashiru Ajayi, Right Honorable Obasa, for giving me this opportunity, and for my governor, Olushola Babajide Sanwo-Olu, to count me worthy to be among the people that will be on the board of this basic education for Lagos State. Coming into the office is not really a tough thing for me due to my history, to my past experiences that I brought into the board. You know, I find everything easy. It's not a new terrain entirely. It's something I've been doing before. It's something I've been handling before. And when you are even lucky to have a good and understanding chairman like Alawiye King, is very, very, very accommodating. He's there to correct us. He's there to put us through. We rub minds together, and all the directors, all the staff, they make everything so easy. So for me, I don't see anything that is difficult there. I just appreciate God for the opportunity.
So let's talk about the children. One of the things that is important, you have a degree in education management, Honorable Sijuade, from the University of Lagos before going abroad to further study. We talk about cognitive learning for the children. We also talk about the emotional intelligence aspect of learning. The schools are shut down now, and children are learning online. I'm going to the tough questions now. How do you think that the current method of teaching young people online is going to be able to balance both the cognitive and the emotional aspect of learning?
Thank you so much, Honorable Israel, for this question. How to keep children learning is a global challenge for educational leaders. However, are we doing something to continue keeping children learning? Yes. Is our model of keeping children learning, is it inclusive? Yes. We started with the IRI. As soon as COVID-19 struck and schools were closed down, we started with the interactive radio instruction learning. And when that started, what we did was to listen to people's response, as they call it, and try to aggregate their responses, listen to what they're saying, and then pick out the points from it. And we realized that IRI wasn't sufficient, and it wasn't as inclusive as we wanted it to be. We then moved to another stage. We started using audio visuals. We started putting together content. And this new content, we put together this new content with the most vulnerable child as our benchmark. We leverage on two major things that we find out that we can find in every home. One, the radio. Two, the telephone. While we realize that, of course, those are not the only two forms of communication or two means of information to children, we decided that that's going to be the benchmark. That's what we're going to start from and then move forward. Our statutory obligation as SUBEB is to provide education to children of school-going age. So we started with the audiovisual and also the radio, the television. We are now beginning to put all our content on our Facebook page, on our YouTube page, also our recordings on our Twitter page for children to begin to listen. If you have not been seeing this, please give us some few weeks. This will go all over and you begin to see. This is in addition to the IRI that we already started. How do we make this inclusive? One, we made sure that for our audios, which of course the majority, the blind can listen to, we make sure that we use more descriptive words in teaching these children, bearing in mind that not all children are in full capacity, that we have special needs.
Yeah.
For our audiovisual, we made sure that we have interpreters on all our TV shows. If this hasn't come up shortly, you see this coming up. We've integrated it into everything we're doing to make sure that this is inclusive. Why this really speaks to the cognitive, the brain, the child being able to accommodate, listen, and learn. In terms of the affective, we decided to put our programs in the evening because we know that this structured distance learning needs to be supported by the parent. The parent needs to guide these children, make sure that they're responding both physically and emotionally to whatever the teacher is saying, and that they are able to respond properly. So as a result of that, we move our programs to 5 p.m. We're assuming that if you are to go to work according to the present state directive, if you're to go to work at 8 o'clock, at the very latest by 3, you're going to close. And whatever the case may be, by 5, you should be back home and be able to support parents here. And also, let me use this opportunity to re-emphasize the role of parents and caregivers in supporting the structure we've put in place. That I can't emphasize it enough. We have to take responsibility to support the government for the learning of our children. Let's not leave it to them alone. They are not in a physical classroom where you have a teacher to walk around and check on them. They are at home with you. So you have to come and take the role of that teacher. As they are learning, ask them if they understand, support them, listen along with them, play the role of the teacher in the classroom, so that way learning can be all encompassing. That is touching both the cognitive, the affective, and the psychomotive, and domain of education.
There's a lot of changes that happened to basic education during this period. What do you think that you've learned about that needs, learned going forward? Honorable Shiju, what do you think is the future of education, bearing in mind the experiences that we have had now? What lessons have we learned, and what should education providers do differently moving forward?
We should bear in mind that education should go way beyond the 4 walls of the classroom. We should start exploring other means of delivering education. We should not think of the classroom alone. We should begin to think differently about education in terms of what are the needs of children in different socio-economic areas. In fact, in different terrains. For example, kids in Makoko that lives on the water, kids in Badagry. We need to have a tailored-based education system where we are providing education based on the need, the societal need, the environmental need of the child. It shouldn't be restricted to the 4 walls of the classroom. And of course, this we're already doing in LASUBEB. We're beginning to think outside of the box to see how we can better get education to children, no matter where they are and their socioeconomic status.
Thank you. Honorable Sherifat, what would you consider some of the biggest achievements of LASUBEB under your team and your board since coming in before coronavirus? Of course, we know that coronavirus has affected a lot of the agendas and programs, but before coronavirus and since you resumed in September, what would you consider some of the biggest achievements of LASUBEB in Lagos?
Oh, we have a lot of achievements. I will start with out of school children that we have. We started a program on that even before the lockdown, before the close of school. So we were able to at least register certain percentage of out of school pupils. And it's a great achievement because it's a source of concern to the government at state level and at the federal level. And part of the achievement is the homegrown feeding from the federal government, that we are able to feed pupils from primary 1 to 3 in all our 1,016 primary schools. We give them lunch, we make them healthy, at least 1 meal per day, one healthy, complete diet meal per day for all these pupils. That's one of the achievements. Another great achievement is the one brought in by our able governor, Governor Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, about using TAB, taking education to the next level in Lagos State. We were able to train our teachers. We are able to provide a TAB for them to be able to use a digital system, digital way of teaching the pupils. And they were already catching up before this whole corona pandemic started. And we hope to develop more on that. By the time we resume now, very soon to the glory of God, We will train the rest teachers so that the thing can go around and everything will be uniform. And at the office of SUBEB, we're able to monitor them right from the office of the head teacher to the office of the class teacher. We're able to monitor the teachers, to monitor the subjects, to monitor how the pupils have been taken care of. A lot of things have been done, and we hope to do more on that.
Honorable Sherifat, you are primarily in charge of co-curricular activities. Sorry, things beyond learning and cognitive learning and teaching, but also other activities that will build the mind of the people. What are your vision in particular in that area? What would you like to introduce? What would you like to see done? I'm not saying did you have in plans already, but what are the things that you think about that this is where we should be moving to in terms of co-curricular engagement for our young people? I know you've also had a lot of achievement. You have the JET competition that our children won a lot of prizes, and you have the best teacher programs. You also have the Children Day program coming up. So many fantastic ideas. You have the sport competition that, you have our children also win the inter-school competition the other time. So many great stuff you're doing through your department, the co-curricular department. I know you're also working on animation and robotics. You've been having series of interactions about, how young people can use robotics in the classroom. What are your big vision that you think that in the next 4 or 5 years is something that we should be, not just in Lagos, but across the country, should be moving to in terms of building the non-learning part, non-academic part of children and pupils?
Thank you very much, Honorable Israel. That's a very germane area that we all need to put hands on deck and work out something very, very good for our pupils. I want us to look at the area of this voluntary uniform organizations in our schools. It's like it's fading off, it's fading away. When you talk of learning, it goes beyond the four rooms of the class, four corners of the classroom. We need to put in place all these extracurricular activities for these pupils to come out better, for their brain to develop. It's not only about biro and paper. We need to develop their brain in other activities. All these uniform of organization, we want to revive them. The Boy Scouts, the Red Cross, and that is what's going to happen on the Children's Day. We at SUBEB office, all the officials, we are going to be in one or all of this uniform, the one you choose for yourself, either Boy Scout, Girl Scout, Girls Brigade, or whatever. We are going to be in this uniform. We are going to revive it. We want to revive it. We want these children to be agile. We want them to be healthy. Most of these pupils, when they sit down, it is only when the teacher asks them to get up, or when they ring a bell for their break, they will all rush out and they rush in after the break, and that is the end. There's no extracurricular activities for them to know how fit they are. And also on our inter-house sports, we want to also improve on the inter-house sport. We want to make sure we are doing that already. I want to make sure, I even extend it to all private schools, that these pupils should engage in all extracurricular activities. And that's another area, is that robotics you just mentioned. Is a good thing that we need to bring into the school system. They should know how to work things out. They should know how to use their head, how to use their brain, right from when they are very young. So when they grow along with it. And this one will not depart from them. And we have lots more that we want to put in place. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Shiju, what role do you think mentorship plays in the development of the mind of the pupil? And how I think I will also ask Honorable Sherifat this question as a co-curricular person, in terms of building the mind of young people, and what is organizations like SUBEB doing anything in terms of increasing mentoring opportunities for young people? Honorable Shiju, that question is for you. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear
Can
me,
you
Honorable
hear me?
Shiju? Yes, I can hear you very clearly.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Okay, good.
Yes, I can hear you.
We cannot emphasize the role of mentorship or not. I think I see mentorship as very, very important and crucial to anyone's success in life. It's like someone having written an exam and you go to them to ask them, how did you write this exam? And they tell you exactly the possible questions you're going to get, in what forms the questions are going to come in, and the answers to those questions. That's what I see about mentorship. It's like getting an expo to life. And I think everybody, in whatever position you are, beyond the student, even I still require further mentorship, requires mentorship. Because the more as you grow in life, you learn a lot. You learn in your new position. I like one of the questions you asked Honorable Sherifat, how she's able to find her new workplace. And that's another, thanks to the leadership of Honorable Wahab Alawiye King, the chairman, for me coming from the private sector, it was entirely different. I was used to sending out emails and not working on files. So thanks to his mentorship, he was able to talk me through, see, this is how it works here. This is how you need to do it. In pushing forward your case, this is how we do it in public service. It was new to me. And if I don't have such mentor, I can tell you I wouldn't have known how to do this best coming from the private sector. Again, of course, I rely on also my own ability to quickly catch up with stuff. But at the same time, one of the major drivers of my success in SUBEP today was because I have a solid mentor behind me. In this case, my chairman, Honorable Wahab Alawiye King. That's not been number one. Two, the role of mentorship in our primary schools, we cannot really leave out. And that's why we have counselors. That's why we have counselors in all our primary schools, knowing fully well that one, they're able to take on the child, they're able to listen to the child, and at times they are able to do peer learning by making sure that a child who is not learning well or who is going through who needs some emotional support is paired with another child who maybe have gone through such situation before and has been able to overcome it. And as a result of that, such child is doing well. Also, we have constantly reiterated to our teachers and constantly trained them that they have to work beyond being a teacher to being a role model and a mentor to the child. And you don't have to do this sitting with the child 24 hours. In going to the class, as you're teaching, you're citing examples, you're giving live examples, you're looking at possible scenarios that these children might be going through and using that as an example to them. And I remember, because I have my first degree in education, and I remember being a social studies teacher in in a secondary school. And one day I taught a very fantastic topic, I think is the family. And I cited different examples to these children. And lo and behold, a lot of them came back to me after my class to tell me things that they ordinarily wouldn't have said out, things that they are going through at home that now affect their learning. And in listening to them, I was able to link them up, pair them with a teacher, pair them. Some of them I needed to take them on as a mentor. Some of them I need to pair with a teacher that has gone through similar experience. So we cannot overemphasize the role of mentorship in learning. It's very important. It's one of the best things that can happen to anyone. If you find a good mentor, it's like finding a cure to all your problems.
Honorable Sherifat, let me get your response to that question as well. You were in charge of counselors and all of that for SUBEB and in all our 1,016 primary schools in Lagos State. So how is your department working in ensuring that we're able to properly mentor our children and ensure that they have role models to look up to? Do you have programs that create opportunities for younger people to find mentors and role model intergenerational relationship? Honorable Sherifat.
Yeah, thank you very much. Honorable Shiju, thank you very much for your response. And I will take it up from there. Mentorship is very key and germane in everything you think of. And in our schools, we have counselors. In all our 1,016 schools, we have counselors. And I want to give it to them. They are doing a very good job. You know, they interact very well with these pupils. They try to move closer to them. You know, all these our children, they have different characters. Some will just withdraw, they will just keep to themselves. But with the help of these counselors, they were able to bring them out of their shell. They are able to confide in them, even to the extent of getting to know the ones out of them that were defiled in their respective homes. So they see the counselors as their parents, because we have both male and female counselors. They are not all female. We have both male and female counselors. So that's why I'm using the word parent. They see them as their
Yes.
parents. They confide in them. They were able to speak out, to bring out issues. You know, when you study these pupils, they are still very young anyway. It's easy for you to know when they are passing through a form of trauma. Some have been abused in their houses. Some are passing through domestic torture. Some have been bullied, you know. But when these counselors interact with them, we are able to bring out some things out of them, and we are able to correct it. We are able to make some arrests of some people even before the lockdown. With some people are already in the police station answering one question or the other. Some people are in cell as I talk to you right now. So with my counselors are doing a very good job, and we intend to intensify our efforts to do more, because there's no reason hiding the fact that they are coming from a very populous environment, that a lot of funny things are happening. So we as teachers, we as counselors, we like to interact with these pupils. No more bullying in school. Governor Olushola Sanwo-Olu frowned to that nobody, no teachers, no using of cane. These people should be very free to you. They should be able to speak up and speak out. You should be able to bring out something that is going on in their lives. At times we invite the parents, we educate them. So in counseling, in co-curricular departments, we have a lot of programs for them. We counsel these pupils even as a group, even as individual, to know what they are passing through. Whenever anyone is moody in the class, we bring them out and we try to investigate the reason why the child is not active that very day. And God has been helping us. We are unraveling a lot of things, and we are tackling it. My chairman, Alawiye King, is always on top of his job. Whenever we bring any case to him, he's always there to help and give us directions. Thank you very much.
Mrs. Tiamiyu, how do you balance? And I use that Mrs. Tiamiyu with emphasis. How do you balance work life and work and family life? How do you balance work and family life?
To the grace of God, I have a very, very loving and understanding husband.
Let me throw this in. Let me throw this in before you answer, because your work, for example, involves traveling. And right the first week of resumption, you're on the plane to Benin City. Going for different quorum and conferences and education. You were in America the other day, and you have children at home. I can look behind you on the screen. I see a CCTV, perhaps through which you monitor that the children are comfortable at home while you're away. So let's all the young women who are in work or business or in career, what are the lessons from you about balancing work life?
Hello, Honorable Israel.
Yes, can you hear me?
Honorable. Yeah, I don't know what is wrong with your audio, but it's wrong. I don't know what is.
I think it's my internet network.
Okay.
But I hear you. Please go ahead. Yes, please go ahead. I can hear you. Yeah, please go ahead. We can hear you. Yes, please go ahead. We can hear you.
Oh, sorry. I'm hoping that you hear me, and I'll try to answer this question this way, to the extent to which I'm able to hear your question. I have two people in my life, and that's my husband, a very supportive and understanding man, and I also have my mother. These two people have given me all the support that I need to do my job. When I got to see them, after I got to Sudan, I was in Benin City to observe the EcoExcel program. Immediately after that, I was in the US to represent Sudan on the program. And this went on 5 weeks as stretch. And in keeping up with all this, making sure that my child on the home front is well taken care of. I had my mom was there, and my husband was also there for me to make sure that the child gets all the support that she requires. One, to be in school, two, to feed, three, to make sure that the mom is fine, and her work does not mean that I will not be able to cope as a mother. And of course, in my home, I have put in place structures to make sure that I'm always there for my child. I have I can live stream into my house to listen to the need of my child, to walk through her assignment with her, and all this I do. So my work hasn't been a problem. And also, from where I am coming from,
hear me? Honorable Sherifat, I think we lost Honorable Shiju there. Can you hear me? Can you hear me,
I
Honorable
can hear you.
Sherifat?
Yes, I can
Excellent.
hear you.
So, let me take you now. How do you balance work-life relationship? Commitment.
Well,
Let me use the word.
for me, it's easy because of my age and my home. My home is very sweet and loving. My husband is the best man any woman can pray for. That's the fact. And we have been together in everything I do. Even when I was contesting at the grassroots level, we were always together. So in everything I do is part of it. So getting to Subeb, it gave me every support I need, every support, every mentorship I need, whatever I need. Even at work, I call him, so I just take it easy, do it this way, do it that way, or take it to your chairman. Chairman is in the best position to put you right. Say, okay, thank you, sweetheart, and that's all. And the youngest of my children is 23 years. Can you hear that?
Yes, I can hear you
Israel?
clearly. Yes,
The
I can hear you
youngest is
clearly,
23
yes.
years. So I don't have babies. They can take care of themselves. You know, I'm very available. I'm very accessible. And what helps me most is planning. When you plan your program very well, you know what to do at the right time. You know when to get home. You know when to be out of home. And when you have reason to be out of home, unscheduled or unplanned for, just let your partner be aware and let your children be aware. Mommy will not be available from social time to social time. Please take good care of yourself. My phone is available if you need to get across to me. Just give me a call. Even my husband will just tell them, please, for now, leave this woman alone. Relate with me if you need anything. So to me, it's easy to the glory of God. And I give all the praises and appreciation to my husband. That is just it. I don't have babies. They can take care of themselves. Thank you.
Fantastic. Honorable Shiju, let's hear from you. You were talking about balancing work-life commitments.
yes, and I said that I have two people in my life that have made this very, very possible for me. One is my husband, and the other is my mother. So I have kids. I have very young kids that requires all the attention in the world. And how have I been able to manage them? I'm used to traveling, being in Subeb and having to travel one to Benin and from Benin to the US and back here and there is not something new to me. In my previous work, I travel constantly. At least once a month, at the very latest once in 2 months. There will be one project to manage, one project to look at. So I am already used to traveling. And if I have to do it, my husband understands. He already knows that, oh, Shiju will be traveling at this time. I'm my mom is always willing to be there for me. Anytime I need to travel, all I need to do is to put a call through to my mother and say, Mommy, I need to be in the US tomorrow. I need to be in Benin City tomorrow. I need to be in Kwara tomorrow. And immediately she's here to take care of my child for me, to support my child. And my husband, of course, is always around to make sure that the child is fine. And between me and my husband, we've been able to switch roles. Each time I'm on the field, he makes sure that he's at home. When he's at home, he makes sure that, when he's at home, I'm on the field. So we've been able to manage this such that it's a breeze through for me. In fact, I have a bag packed down now. I wish I could take you into my room. My bag is constantly packed. If you tell me, Shiju, meet me up at the airport at 6 p.m., I have a travel bag already packed. Off I go. I'm already heading towards the airport, and that's how it has been. And I've never had any issue trying to catch up at all with my job. Travel has never been an excuse for why I can meet up.
So in essence, family has been a support system for you to be able to effectively work and balance your relationship. The role of your mother, for example, in the support system, and the role of your husband in the support system. I would say the same thing. To the glory of God, anytime I have to travel, as a matter of fact, one of the culture that I had with my wife was the fact that we have to travel almost everywhere together. But of course, when we're in supreme work sometimes, I don't get to have that privilege to do that, but then she holds the fort while I do all the run around, and then I try to make it up for her in other areas. So we want to use this opportunity to send a shout out to all our spouses and all the spouses of all the people on the front line, either man or woman, who are helping to make sure that our business life and our work life does not suffer while we're also into our family. So shout out to Peacock Israel, shout out to Mr. Adedoyin, shout out to Mr. Tiamiyu Savage. Thank you so much. So I have two more questions before we go. And this one is about our career. How have you built confidence and resilience over the course of your career? Let me start with Honorable Sherifat. How have you built confidence and resilience over the course of your career?
Well, when you know what you are aiming at, you have to be focused. And when you are focused, you have to be strong. You have to pray for strength. You have to pray for energy, and you have to pray for wisdom. Wisdom is the principal thing. In everything you do, you have to apply wisdom. You must know what to say, where to say it, and when to say it. That is wisdom. And you cannot just do it on your own. It comes from above. Wisdom at times is not about educational background or whatever area you have found yourself. Is from God and is from above. Then when you seek his face and ask for it, he's there to give it to you. So when you are focused, you know where you are driving at. Nothing will distract you. There will be distractions left, right, and center. There will be people that want to pull you down. There will be people that want to discourage you. There will be people who want to abuse you in whatever form. I don't want to use some language here. You just be focused, know what you are driving at, and know that you will surely get there. No distractions. No. When people will come to you and even tell you that you as a woman, what do you want in politics? You as a woman, you should be in the kitchen preparing food for your husband. They have told me that verbally, face to face, that go to your husband's kitchen and prepare food. I just smiled. I said, you people, you need us. We are the builders. A woman in a house, we carry out all professional activities. We'll be the doctor, we'll be the cook, we'll be the carpenter. Even before daddy arrives, we must have taken care of some things. So you must be able to work it out. You must be able to balance it. You must be able to be focused to get your goal done. No distractions. Don't listen to people. Don't listen to people unless they are making positive impact and they are helping what you are trying to aspire. So my own watchword is to be focused, to ask for grace, to ask for energy, and to ask for wisdom. With those things, sky is not even your limit. Sky will be your starting point.
Mrs. Tiamiyu Savage,
Yes.
I'm going to direct the same question to you. How have you built confidence and resilience over the course of your career?
I don't want to say, I think it's, for me, it's from my upbringing. My mom is a very, very confident woman. And I have seen her handle loads of issues from career, ranging from career to business to the home front. And she's been my mentor when it comes to confidence. And in watching her, I have seen how she has been very, very assertive without being misunderstood. So for me, I don't want to use the word confidence as inborn. I have a focus. I know clearly what I want. I know how to chase it, and I know exactly how to communicate it. And I brace up to do that all the time I have the opportunity to. Every time I have the opportunity to do so, I brace up and I do that. I don't think I've had a time where I have to practice being confident. At times I can be shy, but in in facing the reality, talking about it, being confident about what I know and how best to put it out there, I don't think there has been challenges, and I don't think I have had to sit down and have somebody talk me through it or mentor me through it. I just find myself doing it without even knowing how I got it. And people have been like, "Oh, Shiju, you're very confident. How do you do this?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know. I just do it." So I don't know. For me, it's been that way, and I feel strongly that I got it from my mom.
Excellent. Before I go to my final question, which is about advice. I have a comment from Julius Akonji here, and Julius says, "I am just appealing to those teachers that have lesser qualification to develop yourself, so that frustration will not set in. I could observe that some of them who fail to update themselves constitute problem in the system. They should update themselves through the teachers' vacation course." What is your comment on this statement by Julius Akonji?
Is that for me?
Both of you. I'm going to take response from both of you. And this is about teachers
Okay.
development. I know that falls under my department, but I'd like to hear your views.
Okay.
Well,
Let me start.
we train our teachers. We train and we retrain them. And this very one coming from Mr. Julius Akonji is a nice one, but I think this very point, nobody, need to be told what to do. When you find yourself in an environment that you see that even they are bringing people that are graduating in your presence to come and be your boss, nobody will tell
Mm,
you to upgrade. Nobody will
mm,
tell you to upgrade. When you find yourself in civil service, nobody will tell you to upgrade. You don't just sit down like a vegetable and expect promotions and expect here and there every 3 years. No, you need to upgrade. So we train our teachers and we retrain, and they are catching up. We have teachers that came in through lower qualification, and we know what they have now. Even by the time we do the
mm.
promotion exercise that we will carry out any moment after the lockdown, you will see that a lot of them have really upgraded. You don't need to tell anybody in civil service to upgrade. They know what to do, because you don't expect somebody that graduated where you were in office to come and be your boss. So they know what to do, and we are encouraging them to do it. We all want a better salary, and you cannot get a better salary without a better level. So I think they know what to do and they are doing it. And we as SUBEB, we are making sure that we have professionals, we have qualified teachers in our classrooms. And Lagos State has one of, in fact, if not highest qualified teachers in classrooms. I give it to Lagos State. We are doing it. We are doing it and we continue to do it. Thank you.
Honorable Shiju, what is your feedback to that? Teachers' continuous development beyond what the system is doing. Julius is saying there needs to be consciously, personally developing themselves.
Okay. Let me start by saying this. In the education system, we have the teaching and the non-teaching staff. All our teachers are qualified. When I say qualified, I mean that they are education experts. The government does not recruit teachers that are not qualified to start with. There are two ways to develop yourself. Of course, there is constant in-service training that is always happening. The government is always training them. Number two, we also have non-governmental organization and foundation who have shown interest in education and who are continuously going to our schools with our permission and also training our teachers. Is that to mean that the teachers do not develop themselves? Of course, they should also develop themselves. They know the school they belong to, they know their greatest area of need, and I encourage them to develop themselves. And don't develop yourself at the expense of the children. Use your time judiciously. When the schoolers be in school, do your job. When you're on holiday, why not? And there's so much. There's something called internet of information. There's so much information out there. You don't need to pay for development. You can read up, you can go on Google search, you can look up on things, you can read up on things. Everything I know on COVID-19 now, I've been so busy working on the structured distance learning that most time I take out an hour to make sure that I read every day on the update of COVID-19, the spread, what the governor is saying about it and all that. So we need to invest our time in catching up with the realities of the 21st century, with our present realities as it is now that we have. So yes, I encourage teachers to develop themselves. I encourage them to take advantage of every opportunity they have. I know that our partners, the non-governmental organization and the foundations, they are doing a great work in making sure that they advance, improve teacher quality too, in addition to what the government is already doing. Don't just go there to collect the stipend. Listen, practicalize whatever they're able to hand on to you in your classroom. See what works best for you. See the kind of learners you have and how to better impact them with the trainings you're getting. Teachers are constantly receiving training. And in terms of your career development, if you come in with NCE, nothing stops you from going forward to make sure that you now have your BSc, from going forward to make sure that you now have your master's, and in fact, your PhD. And I can categorically say that some of our teachers are master degree holders, and they are doing well. Our non-teaching staff too, who are hoping to become teachers. There's everything, there's all the information out there for them to improve themselves. We have online courses, we have structured distance learning that University of Lagos, Lagos State University are presently holding. And these universities are factored in the timing, the school timing into their structured distance learning. So take advantage of it. Develop yourself. The system is here to support you, to help you, to provide you with regular training. But in terms of your certification, if you need to go further, please do it, and don't do it at the expense of the children. That's what I have to say.
Thank you so much. This is my final question, and I'm going to take it to both of you, and then we'll lead to our final comment. We're already done 53 minutes, and it's like we shouldn't end because the interaction has been amazing. My final question is, what is the best advice you have ever got? Actually, maybe I'll make that my semi-final question. What is the best advice you've ever got in your life and in your journey? I'll start from Honorable Sherifat, then I'll come to Honorable Chiju. What is the best advice you've ever got in your journey?
Oh, that's a very difficult one to pin out the best out of the numerous I've gotten. Let me pick one. Give me opportunity to pick two, please. I'll pick one from my father, and I'll pick one from my mother. My mother will tell me, and she's still telling me, my father is late now. And my mother, I still have my mother. I look so much like her. So she will tell me from day one, she'll be telling me, you are going to make it. You are going to make it. That has been our watchword. So whenever I'm down, even when back in those days, in my early years in marriage, when things were not so rosy, she was there for me. She was there for my immediate family. And she will just be telling me that you are going to make it. You just don't worry. You are going to make it. So whenever my husband went to her, then she will tell my husband, "Don't worry, you people, you are going to make it. You are going to make it. Don't worry." So that thing will just be ringing. Whenever I'm down, I will just say, "My mommy said I'm going to make it." And to the glory of God, I thank her. I thank God for that. And from my father will say, "Just work to take care of yourself. If you bring anything to me, it's a blessing. I have worked to take care of myself. You work to take care of yourself. And don't rely on your children to take care of you. Because by the time you are waiting for them to take care of you, they have their own families too to take care of. So work to take care of yourself. And whatever you bring to me is a blessing. It's just an added advantage. I have what I will eat till I enter the ground." That's what my father will be clamoring. And that statement, made all of us to always be on our toes. That what this man is singing, we have to take it very, very seriously. And we all did. We all did. The man is late now, but that very statement, we appreciate him for it because it's channeled the way we live. And it's part of our success story today. Thank you very much.
Miss Tiamiyu, what is the best advice you ever got?
Shiju, whatever you want, you have to go for it. And that's so. Right. You said?
No, go ahead. Continue, please.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest and best advice that I've ever gotten. That I have to go for every single thing that I want, and that I am somebody who have loads of dream. And when you talked about the first female president, it remind me of myself. So and I've and I have always known, and I've been told several times by multiple people, my husband, my parent, that whatever you want in life, you have to constantly go for it. And I have never relented on that. Whatever I want, I've typically always go for it. I've been told that you have to stand up. You have to fight back. You have to think through. You have to push back if you don't want something. And that has made me into the woman that I have now. And of course, not going for it blindly. Going for it and thinking through what is the impact of it on people. How will it be beneficial to the human race? How will it be beneficial to the people around you? And of course, how will it be beneficial globally? So I don't just go for things because of my own selfish interest. I go for things because of the passion I have to impact. And I've been encouraged several times from different people to please constantly stand up and go for whatever you want. Don't wait for it to come. That's one of my biggest questions.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Finally, I want your final comment to our teachers and our pupils in Lagos State. Honorable Sherifat, what will be your final comment and advice to our teachers and our pupils?
Well, first to our teachers, I just want to tell them very soon the schools will be opened. And they should take advantage of this stay at home, of this lockdown, to brush up, to develop themselves the more, to gather, as my sister rightly said, whatever information can never be too much. Whatever information you can gather to brush up, not for your brain to be archaic, not for your brain to sleep. So just do it, so that when you resume, you come out a new person. And to the pupils, well, I just want to wish them well, but my advice will go to the parents. We call them pupils. You need to tutor them, you need to channel them, you need to grow up with them. So I will speak to the parents to take care of these children. They are our future. They are our future investment. They are our strength when we are going to be weak. Somehow, somewhere in the future, we are going to be weak. They will be the strength that we will rely on. I just want all the parents to take care of the children. Don't be careless with them. Don't just throw them on the street. If you want to hawk, you should be the one to hawk, not these kids. If you want to hawk whatever you want to hawk, you go and hawk and take care of these children. They are not the one to hawk. And you have to help them with their homework. All the program we are having on the radio, on the television, do it with them. Do assignment with them. We have WhatsApp group that you can call, that you can ask questions, and all things will work together for our good. Thank you very much.
Mr. Tiamiyu Savage, I'm going to get your final statement, but if you may have a response to the question from Molade Kwakim that just came in. It says, how do we ensure that we step up our action to eradicate out-of-school children in Lagos State, going for reversing COVID-19 experience of repatriation of Amajiri, even among Northern State? So if you maybe want to touch on that in your final statement, over to you, please.
Okay. For me, my vision for education is to make sure that every child of school-going age is educated and that no child is left behind, which is our mantra in SUPEP. Before the pandemic, we were already thinking of starting a project to make sure that every single child, that Lagos have a zero out-of-school children incidents. We've seen that because of the insurgents in the north, we've seen an influx, and we've seen that our level of out-of-school children has risen. And of course, we have noticed it as an organization, and we have decided that we will putting together a project called Project Zero, which symbolizes zero tolerance for out-of-school children, to make sure that every child has the benefit or an advantage to get educated. And what's Project Zero supposed to do? It's supposed to make sure that such a child is equipped to go back to school. There are a number of things happening in our school. We're already giving the children a meal a day in our school. What are other factors why these kids are in school, out of school? And we know that factors range from poverty to cultural to ignorance. And we have put in place a different strategy to tackle all this, including taking mentors to the society, to the communities, to help us educate these children and bring them back into school. So as soon as the pandemic is over, I can assure and reassure you that you will see us swing into action to make sure that we mop up and that there is no single child out of school in Lagos State. That said, my advice to parents is, this is not, and especially to our pupils and to our teachers, this is not a holiday. It is not a holiday. It is a stay-at-home directive. Does that mean that you are at home to catch fun and not learn? No. And that is why we're putting in place structures to make sure that learning continues. Beyond the structure that we're putting in place, please see this as an opportunity to catch up on all those things that you have missed. For example, if as a child in primary 4, you have missed some basics that is now affecting your mathematics learning. For example, something as little as LCM. This is an opportunity for you to go back to it. Work, catch up. It is not a holiday. It's a time for you to sit down, reflect, learn more, and an opportunity for you to catch up on everything you have missed. If you're a slow learner, you have all the time to catch up. If you're a fast learner, you have all the time to speed up. So whatever kind of learner you are, this is the time for you to make use of both the tools we're providing, and outside of the tools, we're even something as little as learning what is happening around your environment. No learning is too small. This is the time for us to learn and also stay safe and take responsibility by making sure that our noses are covered and our hands are properly washed so that we do not, we reduce the spread of COVID-19.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a fantastic edition of CovInspiration with Dayo Israel. Today, I had two amazing women at the forefront of basic education in Lagos State. Honorable Sherifat Sanusi, the permanent board member in charge of co-curricular services in all our 1,016 primary schools in Lagos State. and Honorable Sijuade Tiamiyu, the permanent board member for social mobilization, in charge of social mobilization and overseeing SBMCs and other things in all our 1,016 primary schools in Lagos State. I remain Dayo Israel. Here, I'm not a permanent board member, but I am a permanent member outside of the show. I'm just your presenter here. It was great talking to you. Thank you so much, Honorable Shiju and Honorable Sherifat, for your time. And for all our viewers, we appreciate you and celebrate you. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow with singer, drummer, Aralola, and on Sunday with Pastor Jerry Eze. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Ramadan Kareem.